series, and today I'm so blessed to be with a good friend. We go back a long time ago, and you might not know it from her name, but I don't think Don put his name on there. But this is Don's better half. This is Kris Petrie, and we did an interview a little while back with Don Petrie, and it was a great interview where Don talked about his journey, his story, and Kris has got a story that I think is also very remarkable, and we're going to have Kris share that today. And the title of this guest interview is one that I really struggled with because I was really trying to figure out how best to say what her story is all about. But it really, I guess if I was put a title to it, is how does getting to a healthy weight and maintaining it and your ongoing dietary choices help you deal with chronic illness? Because Kris is going to explain a chronic illness that struck her out of the blue. And it was just something I remember when she was going through it. I felt so bad because it was so devastating. But she's a trooper like Don. She's a fighter. So she's going to go ahead and explain that. But one of the things we want to highlight with Rx Healthy Habits is stuff like this may, God forbid, but may come. And when it does, are you ready for it? And when it does come, how do you deal with it from how you take care of yourself and what you can control? Because Kris will explain there's some things she can't, but there's some things she can. So now Kris is a school teacher, so I'm going to do this. If I have a question while she's talking that I want to ask her, I'm going to go like this, and she's going to have to call on me because I'm the only one here. So Kris Petrie, easy for me to say, I can't say your name. Kris Petrie, go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit, if you could, about how this disease came about, and go ahead, let it roll.
Thanks, Joe, and thanks for inviting me here to share my story and my journey from where I was 14 years ago to where I am now. I'm a school teacher by trade, and back in 2008, life was going good, and just out of the blue, I got hit with what's called transverse myelitis, and it was caused from having the shingles virus that attacked my spine instead of the outside of my skin. And according to the National Institute of Disorders, transverse myelitis, or TM as we call it, is an inflammation of the spinal cord that affects your central nervous system and your sensory impulses. So I got a little visual aid here, being a teacher. This here is your spinal cord, and all the nerve endings and everything runs through it. And, you know, all the messages, you know, for you to be able to walk, for you to be able to talk, everything runs through that to your brain. Well, what happened with me is, and your spinal cord is covered with a myelin sheath. What happened to me is my myelin sheath got a lesion. It basically got cut, type of thing. And so the impulses from my spinal cord don't go to my brain, or they're slow to get there, or they're not sending the right message to my brain for my body to function. So 90% of people who have transverse myelitis, according to the Multiple Sclerosis Institute, will go on to have MS. I, by the grace of God, am blessed not to have that. All my lesions are on my spine, and you have to have 2 or more lesions for it to develop into MS, and I have 2, but again, it didn't go to my brain. When I first started, the first attack hit, I became paralyzed within 3 days from the chest down, and one of my arms was paralyzed. And by the grace of God and a lot of help from my family and physical therapy, I'm able to walk again. But what's happened is my muscles, what I have for muscle strength is what I'm going to have. I can't build on it, but I exercise to maintain what I have so I can walk and function. In almost every case of transverse myelitis, there's bowel problems, there's bladder problems, which I also have. I also have, my muscles in my ankles are weak, so I have to wear leg braces to be able to walk correctly, because it becomes a domino effect. If muscles go wrong, everything, your gait goes wrong. And so to be able to walk without hurting myself or falling, I have to wear the leg braces and do some sort of exercise or stretching every day to be able to function on a daily basis. With that, when it hit, you have to figure out where you are in life. I didn't know whether I was going to be able to go back to work, what I was going to be able to do. We had to rearrange our house and everything. So it comes with a total mind shift of where you want to go. And with that, I'm an emotional eater, so I started eating and packed on 40 pounds with that. And so basically go ahead to 2019, I saw Elizabeth post and I needed to lose weight, but I had tried everything and I really didn't know what I was doing nutritionally wise, exercise wise. I knew that wasn't a factor in it because I can't, exercise to lose weight. So when I saw her post, I got on the call with Elizabeth and changed my eating habits. I learned how to eat a structured eating program, and I had to have a goal. And my main goal was to be able to just roll over in bed without having to grab hold of Don's shoulder to roll me over or grab hold of the other side of the bed to be able to roll over. Because carrying around 40 pounds is, like Elizabeth said, you wouldn't carry a 40-pound bag of dog food through the grocery store. But that's what I was doing. I was trying to roll over with 40 pounds sitting on top of me, and I just didn't have the strength to do it. So my main goal was just to be able to roll over in bed all by myself. Yes, Joe, you have a question?
Thanks. So I think I just want to reiterate that was goal number one, just to be able to do that. Was that accomplished?
That was accomplished. I can now roll over all by myself. And I used to have to wake up and literally think about rolling over. Now I can roll. I wake up a little bit, but I don't have to. I just roll over like what I call a normal person, where I couldn't do that before.
Thank God. That's amazing.
Yes.
So what are some things now? You and I talked a little bit. You said that you got to normal weight. That was in 2019, correct?
I started in 2019, and I was at 165 pounds, and I had a BMI of 27, which was in the overweight category. And then by March of 2020, I was down to 125 pounds, but my BM runs around 20. So I'm at a very healthy weight for myself, and my doctor, my neurologist, and I have discussed it, and she's very pleased with where I went and the changes that it has made in my body, so I can, do everyday living skills and function. So I definitely checked with her before we did this.
I'm sure you did. I'm probably gonna assume that if you didn't, you wouldn't have the mobility and be able to actually walk. I know you have difficulty with walking because of the muscle, but I bet you it would be much more difficult. Would you say that's true? To do some of your activities?
Yes, because I couldn't even walk a mile, without becoming totally exhausted and everything hurting. Another one of my goals was being a school teacher. I teach kindergarten first, was to be able to sit on the floor and crisscross applesauce and be able to get up. That I can do now. Before I couldn't even sit on the floor. So many things have changed just by getting healthy and losing that 40 pounds. And not only that, I've maintained it now for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and that is impressive, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of people, and you've seen some of the videos we've done about people who put weight back on. Taking weight off is really not that hard. There's a lot of programs out there. Our program, I think, is one of the best to get weight off. The 1 to 2 pounds per week that they talk about, which is a good goal. We can do that, and then a little more sometimes, but Don certainly is proof of that. But the point is, easy to get the weight off, not so easy to keep it off, and you've done that. That's impressive. And it's because I guess you had a need. If you kept it off, you're going to have a quality of life, and your quality of life certainly is not what you'd like it to be in a lot of ways that you can't control, but what you can control, you've been able to lead a more normal lifestyle with this crippling disease. Couple questions. Are there some foods now, or are there some food groups that once you got on program and you learned from Elizabeth and you follow the comprehensive program we teach? Once you got on that journey, did you discover there's certain foods that made your symptoms, like say some of your inflammation, worse? Because I'm sure you have some joint issues or other pain. Go ahead, share that.
One of the big things was sugar. I cannot eat sugar. Sugar um, causes me to have migraines. First of all, I found that out. That's what was causing my migraines all those years, because I loved anything with sugar in it. And two, it also causes a lot of inflammation in my body, especially my knees. So it makes it very hard to just get up, get up and down, because if I eat sugar with the inflammation. So I really stay away from that. Um, Anything with a salt, I don't use any salt, because again, that creates a lot of water in me, and it causes everything to swell, and everything to ache, from my elbows to everything. So I have to stay away from salt. And I don't eat a lot of bread. It that can tend to bothers my bowel system, and I really have to stay strictly to the program, because if I go off, it affects my bowel system, and then it takes days to get things working again in my body. Yes. Yes, Joe.
I can, one more. Here's the question. Some of the things that we learn on program, of course, to get the healthy weight and maintain it, but we don't do anything really different than the fact that we try to tell people to reduce their intake of refined sugars, which you just said. High glycemic sugars, go very low on those for long-term weight maintenance. Highly saturated fats, not a good idea either. And I think some people don't realize that if you have something like Kris and you eat a lot of saturated, red meat that's highly fatty, or a lot of saturated fat, not good, besides the calories are packed on there. So we're more of a higher protein, lower carbohydrate, long-term haul. A lot of whole fruits, vegetables, whole vegetables, fruits, a lot of whole foods, too, to keep you on the right path long-term. So it sounds like you never can go back to eating some of the stuff you did before, just because it raised havoc with you. It causes problems. And I got to say, Kris, you're absolutely right about inflammation. When you bread and pasta, to this day, was always one of my favorites, but I had to really cut it back, because after I got to normal weight, I would notice when I did it, I would get fluid retention, like you said, and get that inflammation. So I want to recommend, folks, Kris is going to wrap this up and maybe give you some parting words of wisdom from somebody that's really been through, I believe, a very difficult time. I mean, I remember talking to Don when she was in the hospital, and he was just in tears many times, just like, I'm so scared about what the future is going to be. She is so sick. And we prayed, and thank God, like she said, by the grace of God, she is here with us today. And full disclosure, Kris not only was a client for a little while, she became a full-on coach. And she's developed quite a team, and she's helped some people get over some things that maybe they were struggling with that weight was holding them back with. So she's a coach on our team. So I just want to make sure I did full disclosure on that. But I want you, if you have more interest in this topic, please go to our website, RxHealthyHabits.com. And in there's a chat box that you can ask questions or comments. You also can join our email list, so you can get emails from us that, on maybe a weekly video or a weekly blog. We have a whole blog series in there. I did not do a blog on this topic, but if you reach out to me, I certainly can point you in a direction, and I might even forward it on to Kris and say, Kris, can you help this person find this online? Because there's so much information online about how what Kris did does help people with her type of chronic disease state, but also people with autoimmune. There's a lot of information about there about some of the same things Kris is talking about, people that have autoimmune dysfunctions, whether it be lupus, rheumatoid, MS. There's so many things out there. We're not saying that we reduce or we cure those disease states, by no means. What we're saying is we can help you deal with them better. Because I believe, and I think Kris will agree, everything is better when you get to a normal weight and you maintain it, and you really reduce certain food groups to where they should be. Not the Western American diet, or they call it the standard American diet, which is sad. Right, Kris? It is sad because it's horrible. So anyway, RxHealthyHabits.com. We also have our YouTube studio, and we are creating content that's going to help people on their journey. So, Kris, if you got some parting words of wisdom for everybody, we'd love to hear it.
Whether you have a chronic illness like I have that I will have for the rest of my life, or whether you're just wanting to get healthy, you will feel so much better, not only physically, but also mentally, because you will be able to do so much more. You will be able to inspire your family and others, and you'll be able to look at yourself in the mirror and know that you have accomplished something for yourself, and that you can go on to become the best version of yourself and do what you want to do with your life.
That is fantastic. You know, you're really good at this. I think I could tell you're a school teacher. But
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to down the road that we can do some more videos with you. And maybe we can get you and Don. It'll be the Don and Kris show, which I think would be great because you guys keep on keeping on. We're so proud of you. We know that you've done great things in your life with, you know, getting on track here. Don certainly, I think, has added years to his life. But more importantly, what you're doing is you're paying it forward. And we're so proud to be part of the fact that we're there to help you pay it forward. And we want to reach a lot of people. We want to reach a lot of people with your help and with other people's help that come on these video series. I hope we can just reach a few more. So, Kris, thank you so much. You're an inspiration, and you're a miracle. And the guy behind you, I guess, is on your shoulder. He was the whole time, right?
He's always got my back.
He really does. So, God bless, Kris, and thank you again so much.
Thanks so much for having me, and thank you for you and Elizabeth for all that you have done to support us and help us. We truly appreciate it.
Well, you know what? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I guess you and Don were ready. And getting a little teary-eyed just think about it because there's so many that don't get they don't hear a message or they're not ready for a message. So you got to be ready, and you guys are ready. So
yes.
Thank you again, Kris. You have a great one. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Joe.